and thank you for the other panelists for sharing their experience during this pandemic regarding the online learning. So for me, the online experience has been quite average with a lot of downside and a few upside, I would say. So the first problem I would say, and I think most of my fellow students and member from the first panel touched on it, was the internet problem. So we had quite a poor internet connection here, and it had some very bad effect on the learning experience overall. For instance, you are in a session and there's this lag between what the teacher said for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute. So the rest of the session become jeopardized because you find it hard to follow and you cannot really stop the teacher from proceeding. So you just have to try to get your way through it going forward. And another thing was also because before the lockdown, in my case, many students went back home. So we were joining across different time zones. So which kind of made it hard for some of them to join, first of all, because the time where we're having the session is not the time where you're receiving it. So some students were not joining. They just have to wait until the teacher upload it on Google Drive or YouTube to access it, which at the end was a good experience even for those of us who joined the session, because afterward you can go back and check some point that you didn't get or that you might have missed. So those are some of the problem I faced. There were also problems regarding distraction. People mentioned it because I mean, even school, maybe we're not 100% focused. There are maybe, let's say, 80 to 90% focus on the class content. But then now you are home, you are constantly distracted. There is distraction all over the place. You have social media, you have people walking around, and it made it hard for you to focus on studying. So this is one of the points. I think distraction has played quite a big problem in the learning experience. There's also another concept of motivation, I would say, because as a student, sometimes you just go to school, you don't have this energy to get into the classroom and feel engaged. You have the fact that you have other students in the classroom, the fact that you interact with them, give you some sort of energy to actually get in the classroom and start working. So because of this, when it's online, you don't have that energy. While people are online, like you can just see their names, but most of them actually switching off their cameras because, well, not only is expensive when you're using your own internet bundles, and they just don't turn them on. So it's a huge problem. So you don't have this motivation to actually study. There's this motivation aspect of it. So also in my university, we work in groups. So peer work is another issue because now people are not in the same space, which you don't know who's there, who's not there. People are online. Basically, you don't know who's connected and who's not. Well, there is not organized. It's less organized than it used to be because now if you're seated with people, you can easily manage the work to be done, and you work much more productively. And now it's basically not the same thing, and you feel it. So this, I think, is one of the problem. So another problem is also, well, now you're constantly home because normally after a traditional class, I mean, you feel the urge to just leave the class session, go out, get some air, change your ideas. But now then you finish, you just stand up and maybe walk 10 meters and come back. The campus, the whole, the house is your new campus, basically. So it's kind of disconcerting. Yeah, so now the other point regarding resources, I think is quite an interesting one, because we had more. I personally have access to more resources than I used to have on campus, because after lockdown, the school had opened up uh, access to other online resources, so which happened to be really interesting, because now we just you don't need to go to any library. You have access to online libraries all over the place. I think we had access to 3 different libraries, so it gives you a broad choice of content. That was really the one of the positive side of the online learning experience. So now the sessions regard the points regarding engagement. I don't think the session were engaging, and which is kind of understandable, because we were not physically there. Because for me, one of the things that makes a session engaging, the case studies, and the interaction between students. Now there's no interaction. You are just there and receiving end, waiting to receive the teacher's content, and it was not that engaging. Maybe one thing that could have been done to improve that part was to have, well, the technology is not yet there, I believe, or we don't have it yet, to have, those maybe multiple choices, or drawing, or advanced technology that will help you to assess what you're learning. So one of the things that I think could have been done for us was to have, maybe, let's say, a set of questions, right? That they just put in front of you, then you select before even going to the topic, or even during the class, to see the engagement, between the students. That could have been something really interesting. Uh, yeah. So regarding the social life, basically, I don't think there is any social life, because it's just social media life. You're just sitting home and talk with your friends and family, and yeah, that's it. You just talk with them through the same devices and the screen. So it's just social media. Now, another point regarding the students' economic concern. Well, we had many economic concern before the lockdown. Now they have just worsened, because in my case, for instance, every summer we have to leave for internships, right? Now, some students didn't get the chance to go back to their home countries. That means you're stuck in uh, in 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 the same place as your school. So some of us have to bear some extra rent, because not only during the summer when you leave, you don't have to pay rent. Not Perhaps maybe because you are back home in your home country, so you're not going to pay any rent, or you are interning somewhere, then it's taken care of. So you have this extra income that you use to take care of small things like rent and other things. But now it's not possible, because you're stuck at the same place, and not some of us got the internship cancelled. Some of us is still interning, and mostly because some companies do not offer online internships, and yeah, among other things. Those are some of the concern, I think, in terms of finance I have faced, and some of the students shared with me, and I was talking with them. Um, so I just hope that going forward we will have a better technology to handle the online education. Even though I don't think it's the best method to deliver content, because I personally believe human beings, we are highly social creatures, and the interaction makes a big part of the learning experience. Being home and learning is I think we're going to lose some of the best part of the education. Let's not talk about even graduate level education like MBA, where the value from the MBA is not really educational, even though some part of it is social. So we might lose this kind of value. if things have to go online. So my last point is going to be how to successfully engage in online education. And I think the best way to go about it is really to have a place where you can focus. Let's say, I don't know, a room or space for your own where there's no distraction, because distraction, I think, is one of the biggest um, challenge one may face. And also to have a schedule, because really, really important, because now you are home or you are in the same place, your schedule is just your laptop. You're just waiting to receive the classes, and there's no clear structure to follow. So you need a really good schedule. And also, you don't want to spend 10 hours in front of your screen. I don't think it's really something that's advisable. You need to have a really good schedule to be working effectively. And the last one will be to have enough sleep, because right now you just, I mean, you're home, you feel like you can do whatever you want because the bed is 2 hours away, so you don't sleep. Like, the bed is here, so maybe I will sleep in 10 minutes. Then you spend the whole night doing maybe YouTube videos, Netflix. Then you see you end up not having enough sleep. So I think that's one of the things from my end.